Welcome everyone to my Ultimate Tips compilation for Nintendo Switch Sports. This video contains all my tips from the Switch Sports Tips series and 3 new tips that were brought to my attention by viewers. I have tested these new tips out and they work great, so I've added them here to share with all of you. If you've seen all my tips before and just want to see the new ones, check the timestamps below to find them, but with that out of the way, please enjoy my Ultimate Switch Sports Tips compilation. The timing of your swing will determine whether the ball goes left or right when you hit it. For example, swinging early here sends the ball left, while swinging late here makes it go right. These are reversed if you are doing a backhanded swing. Use this knowledge to better control where the ball goes when you hit it, to try to catch your opponent out of position, and to give you more time to set up your next hit. You can control how fast the ball goes by rolling your wrist while returning the ball, just like you would with a real tennis racket. Here I roll my wrist forwards to create topspin and speed the ball up. And here I roll my wrist backward to create backspin and slow the ball down. Here are right-handed right side motions. And here are right-handed left side or backhanded motions. For left-handed players, everything will be the same, just with your left hand, obviously. You can use this to control the flow of the match and also to mess with your opponent's timing. Using this in conjunction with the first tip can really put your opponent on the back foot, especially if they are unprepared for it. You may have noticed while playing that some of your shots will go farther than others. You're not imagining it, it is actually another mechanic for tennis. The speed of your swing as you hit the ball will determine your power, just like it would in real tennis. Try to use faster swings to send the ball flying to the backcourt when your opponent has moved up, or use slower swings to send it short when they are too far back. Occasionally while playing, you may get your opponent off balance and they will hit a high, slow ball your way, signified by a blue tail on the ball. When this happens, be prepared with your front position to smash the ball. Timed right, a smash will give you a guaranteed point. The time to hit seems to be just past the ball's peak when it's coming down towards you. Taking advantage of these opportunities will make you feel like a pro. Make use of your front position. While playing online, I noticed that some people rarely, if ever, use that front position. If you are playing by yourself online, you will control both positions at the same time. Make use of that front position to hit the ball back quickly when your opponent has gotten comfortable with you hitting from the rear position. If you have a friend playing online with you on your system, make sure whoever's in front takes advantage of openings. Sometimes it pays to not swing for a while playing up front, so you can throw off your opponent when you finally do. Yes, I know I missed this one the first time, but here it is now. When serving, you can execute a fast serve that can often get you an ace, or at least set your opponent off balance at the start of a rally. To do this, you need to hit the ball right at its peak when serving. Here it is in slow motion. The timing on this is pretty difficult to master, but once you can do it more often than not, you will be scoring an extra point or two from it every match. Another shot type that I missed in the first video is the lob shot. This shot is another excellent way to throw off your opponent. It will slow down the pace of play and is a great way to get around someone who keeps hitting the ball with their front position. To do a lob shot, with the Joy-Con at your side, swing it slightly down first and then up into a high forward position while hitting the ball, just like you would with a real tennis racket. This one can be tricky too, as it seems if you twist your wrist at all while doing this motion, it will switch your shot to either topspin or backspin instead of doing a lob. So this one may take some practice. Not everyone may be aware, but there is actually an invisible stamina bar for your character in tennis. Running back and forth across the court for sure, and I believe swinging at the ball and diving at the ball as well, burn your stamina. Running low on stamina increases your odds of hitting a wobbly blue shot that your opponent can smash on you. So the trick here is to try and manage your stamina by switching off hitting with your front and back positions. This will give each one a moment to recover some stamina. You can also somewhat control this by where you hit the ball. Simply returning the ball towards center court rather than sending it to one side or the other can often get you a quick breather, but this will also give your opponent one as well. Another new mechanic I discovered while playing is that the type of court you are playing on isn't just for a change of scenery. Each type has a unique mechanic that affects how the ball bounces. The green grass court gives the ball a low bounce, decreasing the time you have to hit it after the bounce. For this reason, topspin can be very effective here at decreasing that time even more. The brown clay court generates a high, slow bounce. This means that rallies can last a lot longer as each player has more time to hit the ball after a bounce. The best strategy here is to manage your stamina effectively and wait for your opponent to slip up. When they do, take advantage. The pink hard court generates a high bounce with no slowdown. With this court, all your different shot types will have equal value and effect. The trick here is to find the right shot for your current situation. This first tip is one that can be easily overlooked or underestimated. When you are lining up your throws, don't forget to use the arrows on the beginning of the lane to help you aim, and use them as reference points to make adjustments to your aim. Once you find a good angle, remember how you were lined up in relation to the arrows. This can help you get a lot more consistent with your throws. You can put spin on your ball when you throw it by twisting your wrist as you do so. Besides making you look like a cool pro bowler and impressing your friends and family, putting spin on the ball actually increases its power and allows it to cut through more pins than a straight throw does. This in turn, along with good aim, will result in more strikes. However, straight throws still have their place. It is often much easier and consistent to pick up spares with a straight throw. You may have noticed that some of your throws are a smooth roll, while some look more like a toss. This has to do with the timing of your arm swing. Once you hold down the trigger button and move your arm back, your character will start to move toward the lane. Try to learn the timing of how long it takes for your character to reach the lane. The ball is released when you increase your forward swing speed. Try to get in the habit of one smooth motion in time with your character's approach, increasing your swing speed at the bottom of your swing and as your character reaches the lane. This one may take some practice, but stick with it. Smooth swings are another key to consistency. I may be a little rusty with my bowling terms, so if I get this wrong and anyone wants to correct me, please do so in the comments. But the areas between the head pin and the pins directly behind it on either side are called pockets. These pockets are where you want your ball to roll into the pins, particularly at an angle from putting spin on the ball. Hitting a pocket will allow your ball to hit the most number of pins, and therefore greatly increase your chances of getting a strike. My final tip is to find what works for you, memorize it, and repeat it. Put all the tips above into a style that works for you. If you consistently get strikes by throwing a straight ball, then throw a straight ball. If you get strikes out of a crazy spin, sending the ball from one side of the lane to the other, then do that. Just like real bowling, you will develop your own unique style that works well for you. Remember, practice makes perfect. When competing in Chambara, it is important that you don't hold your sword in the same position for very long. As you can see here, my opponent kept holding their sword in a vertical position, and I was able to take advantage of this with a 3-hit combo ending in a KO for my opponent. Make sure you switch up your guard position from time to time to keep your opponent guessing. Similar to the first tip, make sure you aren't telegraphing your moves. Though in this match my opponent avoided telegraphing their moves for the most part, here they slipped up and attacked from the same angle they'd been guarding. This was easy to guard against because I was already positioned to guard against a horizontal slice. Switching to different angles quickly and often when on the offensive can keep your opponent off balance. When you successfully block your opponent's attack, they will be temporarily stunned and unable to attack or defend for a moment. Take advantage of this by attacking immediately after every successful block. Sometimes, a good defense really is the best offense. If you are using the charged sword or the twin swords, don't forget to use their special abilities. Both the charged strike for the charged sword and the spin attack for the twin swords are powerful and to knock your opponent back a good way when they connect. Once your ability is charged, wait for the perfect moment and turn the tide of battle in your favor. When using the twin swords, one strategy that I have found works well is to use one primarily for defense and the other for attacking. It takes a bit of coordination, but if you can learn to do this well, you can always have one sword lined up to guard. This means you only need to press the bumper button to defend rather than move your sword into position and press the button. This saves precious split seconds that can be the difference between a successful block or getting hit. Also, your other sword is now free to take advantage of your opponent's openings. And for a surprise, you can sometimes get a quick hit in with a sword you're guarding with, especially when your opponent thinks that you're only going to guard with it. Play the mind game. Some of you may not be aware, but you can jump and kick at the same time. Make sure you are using this little feature as it can help you reach the ball while it is in the air. This comes in handy when defending as it works well for intercepting passes, and on offense it could help you with those high passes to you. Take advantage of the range of the jumping header move. This can often give you the reach to get to the ball before your opponent and score that elusive goal, or block your opponent from scoring it. Just remember that missing a header will leave you out of position and down for a moment. We all want to have the ball and be the star of the show, but it pays to sit back and let the ball come to you sometimes. If you spend all your time running toward the ball, chances are you'll get precious few touches. Instead, try to position yourself in a good position to receive a pass or to intercept a kick from your opponent. If you do this, you will get many more touches on the ball and more chances to make that game-winning goal. This one is very similar to the previous tip, but a little more specific. When an opponent is about to kick the ball, back up rather than run toward them. If you move back, you'll be able to see which direction the ball is kicked and be in front of the ball rather than looking for the ball after it passes over your head. Many players want to be where the action is and will try to play offense all of the time. If you find yourself playing with a team like this, consider dropping back and playing the role of goalie. Defending the goal can be a lot more fun than you might think, and it greatly increases your team's chances of winning. Don't underestimate the value of a good goalie. Did you know you can curve your shots? I didn't until a viewer brought it to my attention, and after doing some testing, it really does work. This trick can be a little hard to pull off though, as the timing of your motions needs to be precise. While swinging your Joy-Con to kick the ball, you need to twist the Joy-Con at the same time, like in bowling, to spin the ball and make it curve. Begin the twist just after beginning the swing. Twisting left sends the ball left and twisting right sends it right, and this can be done with either Joy-Con. This will take some practice, but once you have it down, it can be a great tool for getting around that pesky defender at the goal. If your opponent has hit a shot at you that is far away from your character, resist the urge to swing too early. You can often still hit the shuttlecock doing this, but you will be left flat on your face and allow an easy point for your opponent. Try to give your character as much time as you can to get to the shuttlecock before you swing. Don't forget to use your drop shots by holding the trigger button when you swing. These shots are useful for catching your opponent off guard. Drop shots are particularly effective when you've just hit a smash, moving your opponent to the back, as they may not be able to reach the drop shot in time to hit it back to you. If you time your swing to just after the peak of the shuttlecock's flight, you will perform a smash hit. These hits are denoted by a yellow tail and are faster flying, making it harder for your opponent to hit them. They can be used to take advantage of your opponent being too far to one side of the court, making it even harder for them to hit it back. If you get your opponent to bobble a shot, it will come over slowly with a blue trail. This is your opportunity to get a super smash in. Time your shot similar to a regular smash and you can hit an almost indefensible shot. But don't get too comfortable. Though very difficult to do so, these shots can be hit back, so stay on guard. Use all of the previous tips together to keep your opponent moving back and forth, left and right constantly. This increases the likelihood of a bobble from them or the perfect shot being lined up for you. Don't let your opponent control the flow of the match. Every move in Switch Sports Volleyball takes precise timing, even more so it seems than in the other sports. Mastering the timing of each move can help you get the ball over the net faster and help you line up much better spikes. It's easy to get used to swinging your Joy-Con in one direction all the time, but try to remember to swing it in the opposite direction from time to time. Your character will hit the ball in the same direction of your swing. This can be used to target the side of the court that the other team has left open. This works with both serves and spikes. When your opponent is preparing to spike on you, don't immediately jump when they do. Wait a half second or so before you try to block. This will give your opponent a much smaller window in which they can spike. If you jump immediately, all they have to do is wait until you fall back down. The spiker can stay in the air longer than the blocker can. As just mentioned, you can stay in the air for a bit as the spiker, so try to wait out your opponent's block and spike once they have started to come down. You can also try different points in your jump to spike if your opponent starts to catch on. Keep mixing it up to prevent your opponent from predicting your moves. Another way to throw off the opposing team is to use a light hit. When you go up for a spike, instead of swinging the Joy-Con quickly to spike the ball, swing it slower and tap the ball. These light hits can often be unexpected and throw off the opposing bumper's timing. When you go to block, try to pay attention to where your teammate is and move your character slightly in the opposite direction before you block. This will have you protect the side that your teammate cannot cover, giving you a stronger defense against the spike. That's all for my Ultimate Switch Sports Tips compilation. Hopefully you found these tips helpful, and I hope also that having them all in one convenient package helps as well. If you found the video useful, please hit the like button and leave a comment, and as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.